Everyone, Paul here. Today I'm going to go over strategy for the stock market. And if you've seen, I think I talked about this for the crypto market, but that's using two indicators, and it's mainly focusing on doing this on the day chart to get the best results. And what you basically want to do is you want to load up a certain linear regression channel, and you basically want to identify the direction. So you can look at the linear regression channel, and you can determine what overall direction it's doing on the day. This will help you find the bottoms, and it will help you find the tops. So if you are in a ascending channel, what you want to focus on is the candle going to the very bottom and bouncing, going back up. If you're on a descending channel, you want to focus on the candle going to the top and catching it at the top and riding it down. You always want to go with the trend, so that's why with this strategy, I do not recommend going against the trend. And the market is currently doing that right now with SPY. It is going against the trend. So what you want to look for is certain moments when it matches with the linear regression channel with the RSI. So I'm going to show you how to do this on the day and how this will help you find the bottoms more, and you can basically just write it out. It all depends. But if you're doing this on Forex, you can write it out longer. If you're doing this on Robinhood, you'll only be limited to a certain amount of time. But let me show you what to look for. We'll look for this in SPY. Maybe I'll go through some other stocks as well. Okay, so to set this up, you only need two indicators. You need to be looking at your day chart, and you need to have your linear regression. It's go here, go to your settings, go to the linear regression channel. You want to get that one. Now, by default, it'll have a bunch of added stuff. I'll show you what it looks like. So when you load this up, it's going to have a bunch of, it'll look like this basically. So what I basically do is I just get rid of the blue and the red background because I just find that a little distracting. So basically I just go into the settings and I make sure they extend the lines on the right side, and go to your color settings here and turn your opacity all the way down to 0. But, that's personal preference. But I just find those colors a little bit distracting. What you really need to know is you need to know the top, the bottom, and the pivot line. That's everything you see here. Anyway, the only other indicator you need here is the RSI. So basically what you want to look for is you want to identify the overall direction. You want to look at this on the day chart, and you want to identify the overall direction of the S&P. What direction is it going? Now, hold on, I think I have too many lines here. We don't want to extend to the left, we just want to extend to the right. Okay. So this will tell you what the overall direction. So we've been going up with the S&P since September 3rd. So since September 3rd, 2024, we've been going up. The overall direction is up. So what you want to wait for is, since we know the direction is up, we want to wait for the candle. We want to wait for the candle to get as close to the bottom here as possible. So what you want to wait for, you want to wait it out, and you want to make sure this candle gets as close to this bottom as possible. So it may not get all the way to the bottom, but what you want to look for is basically that's when you'll look at your RSI. So keep your eye on the candle and it getting as close to this bottom as possible. And you'll know when to enter your trade when your RSI starts crossing. So If it doesn't go all the way to the bottom, that's okay, but just make sure, look at your RSI and make sure it's crossing. Like what we see right here, this would have been your entry point, because we have the candle touching the bottom right here, and you would basically just ride it out. Now, the thing that will probably make you a lot, if you follow this, the disadvantage here is you got to wait a while for the signal. You got to wait a while for the signal, but if we can go back and look at the other candles here, but you see right here, if you got in right here and you wrote it out all the way up here, you would have been in profit. So for SPY on doing this with Robinhood, let's just say that contracts don't matter for this point. So let's just see how much you potentially would make if you came in right about here and you rode this out. So if you rode this out, this would have taken 13 days and you would have made $2,328. That's where you would be. So the good thing about this, if you get in right here, if you get in right around here and you ride it out, and it goes up a little bit and it comes down, and if it comes back down all the way down here again, let's say it comes down right here, if it comes down right about there, you are still in profit, because this is a higher point than where it was right here. This is you're basically getting in at the bottom, which is why I like doing this on the day. This makes this more of a part-time gig. All you have to look for is the candle. When you're in an uptrend, you have to make sure that the candle gets close to the bottom of the trend line. And as long as it does not break this trend line on the bottom, you're good, because it's just going to be a slowly grind up. It's best to do this in Forex because you can ride this out for as long as you want. But if you want to do this on Robinhood, you're limited to your time. So you could get in for a week or 2 weeks if you want. It all depends. But this will bring you the best results if you get in right here. The candle has to get as close to the line as possible, and then you basically ride it out. So even right now, we are going down. The market's not open, but we are going down. If you go to Forex, you'll know that we're going down. So it's going to come down, and if it comes down to anywhere around here, this would be a buy zone for me. If it comes down anywhere around here, this is a buy zone, and then you basically just ride it out. Even if it comes down, you should still be good. As long as you get in anywhere around here, as long as the candle touches anywhere around here. But you have to look at your RSI and wait for it to cross in order to be more accurate. So let's just go back a little bit and see if this works. We want to look for the time when it gets close to this line. So the last time you could have come in here, but it's not quite touching. This is why you still might lose if you hold this long. You can get a profit for a little bit here, but that's why I want it to touch the bottom as much as I can. But you still would be in profit here. But if you rode this out till like here and then it went down, you wouldn't be in profit. But for the most part, you would be in profit if you followed this. So right here we see, here's a good example. We see, this is when it started. You see that it touched right here. You see it crossing with the RSI. If you came in right here and you rode it out, but if you rode this out in Forex, because if you did this in Robinhood, you would have had to buy a pretty big contract. But anyway, you could have rode this out for 57 days. You still be in profit. Right here, see, right here you would have had 3,577. Right here you would add 5,000. Right here you would add 6,085 days. So you could basically, if you rode this out, you still would be in profit even with the dips. Even with something like right here, where you see if you entered here where the RSI crosses and you rode it out, even if right here, you're still in profit. You're, on Robinhood, you're at 4,000 $1,000. Even though it's going down, you're still in profit. So I think you guys get the general idea. That's what you got to look for. Let's go look at a couple other stocks real quick. Let's look at NVIDIA. See if we can find this on NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, it's the same thing. This right here is the start of the uptrend on the daily. So basically you would have to find all the moments where the candles are touching the bottom trend line. So you could get in right there. And it's the same thing. If you wrote it out from here, you'd still be in profit because it's ascending upwards. So you could have got in here. It touched again right around here. You could have come in here, or you could have come in here. So there's 3 good entry points on the day here to be in profit. Let's look at the QQQ. Okay, so it starts right here. We've been in an uptrend since September 3rd. You could have got in right here. Could have got in right here and rode this out. You'd still be in profit this whole way up. The next good points would have been right about here. You still, if you got in right here, you still would be in profit. And it rises a little higher. I personally would not get in right here because it's getting closer and closer to the top. You want to get in as close to the bottom as you can. The next good entry point would have been right here, which is pretty similar to what SPY is doing right now. This one all the way up, and that's about $2,000. So let's look at a couple other ones real quick. Let's look at Microsoft. Okay, so is this an uptrend for Microsoft? We are in a uptrend, so basically what you want to look for is the candle getting as close to the bottom as possible. We see a good entry point right here. You could have wrote it out from here and be in profit. From here all the way up here, you could have still wrote it out and still been in profit. Even if it came down here, you'd still be in profit, but you wouldn't be much. You wrote it out to here, you would be up to $4,000. So this works the best with Forex. When you're doing Robinhood and contracts, you have to be pretty precise on your trades. And let's see, let's do one more here. Let's do Amazon. Now, Amazon, we could tell, is in a uptrend. It started here, but it's not really a good entry point in my opinion because it's not touching the bottom of the trend line. So what you want to do, you want to wait for it to come down to the bottom as much as possible, and then you want to look at your RSI, and a good moment would be right about here. So right here would have been a good moment to get in, and you could have rode that out as well. So this works well. This works well for mainly like the ETFs. They work the best. You can really use this for the S&P because it tends to follow. It follows the S&P pretty well. I think, oh, that's not the S&P. So it works the best for the S&P in my opinion. You make sure your candle is touching as close to the trend line on the bottom as possible, and then you use your RSI to find your moments to get in. Now, if this is going in the opposite direction, what you want to look for is the opposite. So if this is a descending channel, you basically want to get the candle has to get close to the top, and then you have to look at your RSI for moments of it going down. So those are how to catch the moments for puts for when the market is in a descending path. But this is most important here. As long as you are in this is my rule. As long as you're in a ascending channel here, my focus is going in with the direction. So I always want to go with the direction. I do not want to go against the trend. So personally, what I am waiting for is for this to come down and for the RSI to start crossing. So the only disadvantage to the strategy when you're doing it on the day, you don't have, well, the advantage here is you don't have to look at the charts every day. You just have to know the direction overall, and you focus on that direction. So for all the moments where it's going against the trend, you just take a break. I like going with the trend, but everybody would probably want to try and go against it. I do not go against it. You can if you want, but I use that as a map to see what the overall path of the stock is doing, and then I use the RSI to find the moment to get in when it crosses. So you have to make sure that the candle is getting, if you're in an ascending path, you want to make sure the candle is close to the bottom as possible, and then you want to look at your RSI for any cross moments. For a descending path, you won't want to make sure that the candle is way up to the top of the trend line and crossing the RSI down you want to basically do the opposite. So SPY right now is in an uptrend, so that's what I focus on. So anyway, if you guys like this video, if you found it helpful, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in future videos.